President Biden announced specific protections for undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens, expanded parole in place. What is this new program about? When it's going to become effective, and who might benefit from this program? I'm going to break it down for you in this video, step by step. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Immigration Channel. In this video, I'll explain the new program from the Biden administration, Parole in Place, specific protection for undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens. Now, why is this important? Because this is a proposal that is not yet effective, but it will become law in a few months. And it's important for you to know, first of all, who is going to be impacted by this proposal, what you have to do now to prepare for it, and who is not going to be eligible to be part of this program. Now, remember, under current law, if you're married to a U.S. citizen and you entered the United States without inspection, you're not eligible to adjust your status inside the United States. What this program does, it opens the door for more spouses who are currently undocumented, who enter the United States without inspection, to be able to get a special program called Parole in Place and eventually get a green card, all from inside the United States without needing to go outside to the U.S. Embassy and risk not being able to come in. Now, this is a very interesting program. It's quite complex because not everybody is going to qualify. I'm going to explain who might qualify, who is not going to qualify, and what you need to do now to collect the necessary documents, so it's going to make it easier for you to apply when the time is right. Before we do that, if you're here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos, and also give us a big like so YouTube will be able to show this video to more people just like you. As always, if you need help with your immigration matters, all you have to do is send me a text to 619-483-4549 or go to www.immigrationasap.com, leave your information there, and one of our team members will contact you ASAP. Now, let's jump into the video. So, on June 18th, the Biden administration released a proposed rule to essentially help undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens get a specific program, also known as Parole in Place, to be able to eventually get a green card from inside the United States. Now, the way the Parole in Place works at the moment, it gives protection from deportation and a work permit to those who enter the United States unlawfully, specifically spouses of U.S. citizens. The current program also helps parents of U.S. citizens who are currently in the military. But the Biden administration program is going to expand it, not just spouses of U.S. citizens who are in the military, but also U.S. citizens who are currently not in the military. And that's going to be limited just to spouses as a first step. So, who is going to qualify under this program? First of all, you have to live in the United States at least for 10 years or more before June 17, 2024. Now, the reason why we say June 17 is because that is the date that they put in the proposal, and the idea is that not to encourage more people to enter the United States without inspection, but actually help those of you that have been here all these years. Number two, an applicant who's going to qualify for this program must not have any criminal record or pose public threat to the United States. So if you had any criminal record, you might not qualify. Again, we don't have the list of the offenses, but we assume it's going to be similar to DACA, which means that even if you have a DUI, you might not be qualified under this program. Parole in Place is a discretionary program. So even if you meet all the requirements I just mentioned, you might not qualify if the government feels that as a matter of discretion, you shouldn't be getting this benefit. Now remember, another important point about this program is that you have to be married to a U.S. citizen, but that marriage had to take place before June 17, 2024. And again, the idea is not to encourage more people to enter the United States illegally and marry U.S. citizens. Therefore, there's a cutoff date of June 17. If you've been here, married before this date, been here for about 10 years, before that date, you might qualify under this program. So what kind of documents you need to start preparing right now to qualify under the Biden's Parole in Place? First of all, you must have proof of your marriage to a U.S. citizen, a valid marriage certificate that you obtained in any state in the United States. Now, if you were married in the past, make sure you obtain your divorce decree so you can prove to the government that your marriage is bona fide or while you're still not divorced overseas. So remember, if you were married previously abroad, please obtain proof of divorce, because it's going to be very difficult for you to do that once that law becomes effective. If you have to file and you don't have proof of your divorce before you married your U.S. citizen, it's going to be very difficult to proceed with those cases. I'm telling you, they will be questioning whether you were free to marry when you married that U.S. citizen, and if you cannot prove that, that's going to be a hold on many of these cases. Number two, you really have to prove that you've been physically present in the United States for the past 10 years. How do you do that? Well, you're going to have to collect documents, go back 10 years and start going year by year. Any bills that you paid, any doctor visits, anything that can show over a period of time from each of those years that you've been in the United States. It's very similar to what we had to do when we had to qualify clients for under Section 245I, which is a benefit. We have to prove to the government that a person was here before 2001, so we had to go back and literally collect records kind of every month in the year. Bills, doctor visits, car insurance payments, anything like that. Make sure you collect it from every year, create a folder, go back 10 years and show, yes, I was physically present in the United States, here is my evidence, and that's going to make it very easy for the officer to determine that you actually were physically present here and you didn't just show up here 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Remember, even if you came here 8 years ago, you still are not qualified. It had to be 10 years. So they're going to be very strict about trying to get documents from you specifically 10 years ago. Okay, so that is something that I would do right now. The law is not in effect yet, but it's going to be at the end of the summer. And so now is the right time for you guys to collect these documents, because you're going to need that to show eligibility for the law. Another thing that the Biden administration added as part of their announcement is that they will be helping DACA recipients who are graduates of U.S. universities and other foreign students who graduate. Upon graduation, if they have a job offer from a U.S. employer, they'll be able to get a faster track for a work permit and eventually green card because of the work permit eligibility to apply for a green card. The idea behind it is that they want to encourage a lot of the DACA holders to convert their DACAs to something a bit more permanent, and that'll be one way to do so, by applying for a work permit and eventually a green card. So we don't have too many details about that, but it's something that is coming, and we'll have more information once they release it. Bottom line is that if you are undocumented, if you came here without authorization, you can apply for the parole in place once it becomes law, and eventually apply for a green card if you were here, if you came here unlawfully. Now, what about those people that came here multiple times? What if you came here 2 times, 3 times unlawfully, and you're now subject to the permanent bar? Is this going to save you? If you're subject to the permanent bar, the parole in place, you can still apply for the parole in place, but you're not going to be able to apply for the green card at the end of the 3 years. And the reason is because parole in place does not cure your permanent bar or any deportation that you had and you didn't fulfill. So remember, you might be able to apply for the parole in place, but it's not going to allow you to get your green card from inside the United States if you're subject to a permanent bar. And again, that means that you came here unlawfully multiple times, not just once. Finally, who is not going to be able to use this law when it finally becomes available at the end of the summer? If you're married to a U.S. citizen, but you entered the United States illegally with a visa and then you overstayed, that does not apply to you. And the reason is because even if you overstayed, you can still marry a U.S. citizen and apply for adjustment of status inside the United States. So you don't need that law. You already are protected right now from removal. You can safely apply for a green card just because you're married to a citizen. This one specifically for those of you that entered without inspection, and under the current situation, you have to leave the country eventually and face the consular officer, and therefore many of you are not willing to do that. You're afraid even if you apply for a waiver, and this new legislation, when it becomes available in 3 months or so, will allow you to stay inside the United States and get your green card from here. So if you came here illegally and overstayed, you don't need this. You can just safely marry your U.S. citizen at any time and apply for the green card from inside the United States. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And As always, if you need help with your immigration matters, send me a text 619-483-4549, and I look forward to helping you with your immigration matters.